So I hope everybody's having a good morning. So I'm going to give you a little whistle-stop tour of what XR technologies can do for you. And by XR, I mean the full range of services from augmented reality, mixed reality, right through to virtual reality as well. So firstly, while we're here to talk about emerging technology, the first thing to point out is we're already seeing a large number of businesses across the globe starting to deploy these technologies and make real-world benefits to their businesses. So you've got firms like Bugatti and from the design side, Zaha Hadid, who are using VR technologies, metaverse technologies to help with their design process. You're seeing firms like Ford and Coca-Cola are using virtual reality in their production processes to optimize workflow and to save time as well as train staff. And training, of course, has always been a fundamental area of virtual reality. Why is this so important? Not just us, and many of the analysts, this is from PwC, see significant growth in XR technologies, VR and AR, and a rise to 23 million users whose work is going to be affected by VR by 2030. Now, many analysts will tell you they see the biggest impacts there on being in markets like UK, Germany, US, and China. However, what we see from where we sit, and my responsibilities for the EMEA region, is that focus from governments in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, in UAE and others, are ensuring that there's technology leadership in this region, and we're seeing a lot of interest from businesses here. So let's have a look at how businesses and government can benefit from this XR technologies. So I want to talk about three areas today because we're limited for time. So healthcare, firstly, where we're going to show how VR training for healthcare can really affect patient outcomes and improve learning for a whole range of medical staff. We're going to talk about digital twins and how that's helping businesses optimize workflows, train staff, and also speed up product development and allow for much earlier decision-making to be made in the design process. And finally, I'm going to talk about remote collaboration. Remote collaboration doesn't replace things like this and meeting people face-to-face, but it complements this and helps make decisions faster. So some healthcare insights. This is a survey conducted by us recently in the US, 400 healthcare professionals on the state of XR training. The vast majority agree that XR enhances educational plans and empowers training coordinators to be more effective. So those leading the training are more effective. 75% agree that XR allows trainees to complete the program in less time. So, of course, when you're getting your new trainees through your training program much quicker, that's more effective for the business, and in healthcare, that's more effective for the patients. And 86% of those organizations who haven't yet deployed XR believe they will do so in the next 2 to 3 years. So we're seeing a significant demand in this sector. Let me talk through this at the end.
The most successful brain surgeries start before you enter the operating room. With a 3D model of your brain, we rehearse your exact procedure from every possible angle, so we can deliver the highest survival rates in the country. At NYU Langone, the nation's #1 hospital for neurology and neurosurgery.
So that's an example from our partner NYU Langone in the US, but we can look elsewhere at examples. We can look at fundamental VR and how they're bringing haptic feedback into surgical training. So no longer in VR are you just experiencing things visually and in the soundscape you're in, but you're getting that real feedback of what it feels like to drill into a bone. To such extent that the University of Surgeons in the UK now recommends that training or supports that training as part of the official development program. You've got other examples with University College London and RUVR, who've been working together on training and, again, speeding up the training and the learning process. And I think a very important point here with training isn't something we do once for people when they come into the businesses. To be competitive in a fast-moving world where the technology is changing very quickly, training is something we have to be doing regularly for employees. Let's look at digital twin. So this is an example from around factory layout planning and the optimizing the flow of materials. So on the left, you've got the real facilities, and on the right, the digital twin. So what this allows firms to do is, during the construction phase of the planning, to optimize workflows. So as you can see on the figures here, reducing time for workflows and a 30% reduction in on-site engineer visits by being able to train people with that factory flow before they even come to site. Now, that previous example showed a relatively low fidelity solution. To talk about the emerging technologies that are coming, this is polygon streaming. This is part of HTC Vive's solution. At the top, you'll see a traditional metaverse solution without polygon streaming. And this technology allows us to bring much higher quality objects into a collaborative virtual reality space. At the top, you can see not only is the image less impactful, it's less visually appealing, but also a much lower frame rate and things like that. Now, these techniques can also be applied to complete spaces. So the video playing here is an environment that can actually run on a smartphone, an all-in-one VR headset, or a normal office PC. So this could be, this is kind of a gamified version of New York, but this could easily be a tourist destination. It could be a new development of a cityscape. It could be a new factory where you're training for workflow. And because we can bring these high-quality images to any sort of devices and across any sort of network, it allows multiple people to collaborate in these spaces as never before. Finally, let's touch on remote collaboration. And we asked ourselves the question, could remote work be better than it is today? Regardless of so-called hybrid working or what's happening in other regions post-pandemic, the fact is, in a globally connected world, we're often working with customers, team members that are in different parts of the world. And today's technology, looking at a 2D screen, is always going to be a compromise. At the very least, if nothing else, the screen that you're looking at right in front of you where you're talking to somebody, you're not able to see their reaction fully. And that screen also has all of your other communication tools on there that are acting as a distraction for the meeting. Now, put people in VR with modern headsets with eye tracking and face tracking. You can now bring much more realism. You can see the user's reaction. You can see where they're looking. And by immersing yourself in VR, you're removing those distractions. So it becomes much more like a face-to-face meeting. So this is a survey from PwC about these remote collaboration tools. This was published a couple of weeks ago. And surveying users about these tools, 16% see an improvement in communication using spatial computing platforms such as Viveverse. 58% feel a greater sense of closeness with colleagues. This is really important for distributed teams, so for remote workers. And it allows businesses to engage that skill set within their business, no matter where the employee is based in the world. And 11% see a higher satisfaction with workshop results. So positive feedback from users who are already starting to deploy these systems. We also did our own survey, and 80% of people felt that they were in the same room as their colleagues by using this sort of technology. They felt more focused and attentive in VR than in video calls, so removing those distractions, as I mentioned. And 80% agreed that VR onboardings are more personal than video calls. And we're seeing a lot of businesses use this technology to onboard new employees, to introduce them to people, to understand layouts of the offices around the world and factories and other facilities and what's going on in the business globally. So what are the areas where businesses are using these today? So productivity, by being able to collaborate around designs within a 3D spatial environment, you can make design decisions much quicker. In fact, today, before the first product has even rolled off the production line, you can have teams review that product and you can avoid design errors that are going to be more costly when you go into manufacturing. You can engage clients. So again, you can show those clients the new model, you can show them the city plan, you can show them the architectural plan that you're building. Advertising and marketing, we've seen many businesses take their first steps into advertising and marketing in the metaverse, but we've only really touched so far on what the technology can do today. Simulation experience, connected with the last one, which is education and training, there is far more retention, up to 60% more retention of information by training in virtual reality than via traditional training methods. So putting people in a safe version of that environment allows you to take people through training on very dangerous or complicated equipment, something that you can't do in real life. And training in VR is all about building out a muscle memory so that you know how to do these tasks in the future. So one of the things that we're building, just as I wrap up, is moving away from a world of dropping into one Teams meeting and then into the next completely disconnected meeting. What we're building with our Viveverse platform, and we'll show you that today, is a persistent branded space that your business can utilize. So you can leave one meeting, you can walk into a branded version of your office, a digital version this is, discuss with other people. Your remote workers who aren't based in your main office can feel much more connection with the rest of the business. And not only can you run meetings exactly as you would do with Teams, but you can do a lot more with those meetings. You can have multiple screens, you can have 3D objects, and you can collaborate in completely different ways, much more like the real world around us today. We see everything in 3D, and looking at a 2D screen is always a compromise. And finally, as you saw on the video earlier, this shows the future state of some of this technology and how it can be used combined with mixed reality on the Vive XR Elite headset here. So again, this isn't about replacing those face-to-face meetings, but it's allowing you to lock in design, lock in agreements remotely much earlier with people, and then meet face-to-face to celebrate the success of those. So hope you found that interesting. Thank you all for your time and have a great rest of Summit, and look forward to speaking to you all later.